Hey guys, Redrix here. Hope all of you are having a great day. Wow, we're doing daily uploads. I never thought that would be the day, but as you guys know, I try to cover as much leaks as I possibly can that seem realistic and reliable. Obviously, we can't look at every entire leak because there's just false info everywhere with some of them, but this leak particular that I'm going to tell you about today had some interest in and had some intrigue from me because it actually pointed out some stuff about the Last Wish, the dungeon, and Dragon's Breath being the seasonal exotic a couple weeks ago when it was not confirmed. So I wanted to look at it a little bit more, and this will be a huge leak, so I just want to let you know here. So go get a popcorn, go get a milkshake, sit back, relax, and why don't you, while you're doing so, hit that subscribe button, hit that awesome bell, and also tell me what your thoughts are on Season of the Wish in the live chat as this video is premiering on YouTube. Hope you guys do enjoy. Let's get right into it. So this is going to be a big one, so bear with me here. I got some other stuff from other pastebins that I actually thought as cool, but I wanted to cover it all in one video, so let's get right into it. So Season of the Wish, this is going to be the last season of the, of course, year for Lightfall's year 6, and this will be one of the ones where the story will be very pivotal, and it's been building up through the entire year. Now, some stuff to confirm that I'm obviously going to bore you with for a second. Exotic Dragon's Breath has been confirmed to be the seasonal exotic, and there has also been confirmed today that the Wither will be having a special collab with Destiny for Season of the Wish in the Eververse set. Now, the only thing I have against this set, as even though it looks so goddamn awesome, is that I don't know if it's going to be $10 or $20 each for each armor set for each class. So I'm not really a fan of these expensive sets, but I have to say this collab set is one of the best. So obviously having that confirmed is really cool. They did say that there's going to be a lot of Japanese and Aramkara style sets, and that exotic ornaments for the season are going to have Aramkara aesthetic. So just to remind you, when you look at the Eververse store, if it is to be true on Tuesday, that you're going to see a lot of Awoken and Aramkara ornaments. It's stuff like that you would probably get. So if you're into that, it's going to be a great season for you. So as you guys know, with this season, the Last Wish is going to be pivotal, as the basic goal for the Last Wish is to get us through the portal that we saw that the Witness went through at the end of Lightfall to get to the Pale Heart, so Final Shape can begin whenever the release date for that damn expansion is. Now, this is something we haven't talked about. The Last Wish will come at a cost, and that will be Mara's life. Now, I just want to point out there that it is unsure if this is to be true, and it's unsure to what will happen to the Techians and the Awoken people after if Mara does die. But it's being said that after some of the controversy and criticism to Mara as a character, as there has been a lot of criticism towards Mara as a character. I've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but there has been. So this might be sort of the end for this character, and then actually seeing Petrovenge maybe take charge with the Crow or something like that. I know that there's a lot of things that are going to happen, a lot of probably crazy story and lore if Mara does die, because does that pave the way for someone else to take sort of the leading position of the Awoken, and what does that leave us with Mara being gone? Because obviously for the greater good, should we sacrifice her? I don't know. The Last Wish will be sort of that like send off for that character. Now, again, like I said, the armor for the Season Pass, which we saw in the promo art, will have a mix between the typical Awoken style armor that you've probably seen in Forsaken, and we'll also see Aramkara dragon scales. So there's going to be some dragon aesthetic with that in the dungeon armor, which I believe is fascinating, because I would love to, wear Riven as a freaking armor set. That's so dope. But I love the aesthetic here that we're going to probably get for the seasonal armor, and I can't wait to see what the seasonal ornaments are. Now, Eververse is going to have a full pure Aramkara set, which is really cool. Exotic ornaments for, again, like I just said, are all Aramkara and Awoken themed. The weapons is being quote-unquote a reskin of Season of Defiance weapons. I don't know how I feel about this, but, I don't have pure, huge expectations for Season Pass weapons anymore. It kind of really comes down to really the perks, in my opinion, not like the aesthetic or style. But if it is going to be reskinned Defiance weapons, but the perks are amazing, I'm not really going to have a huge deal with it. I think we talked about this a while ago. I've talked about it in one of my Backlash videos back at Lightfall. I was not really a fan, and I was kind of annoyed with the reskins of things, but now over time I've kind of just, I haven't really put a lot of attention towards it, because the perks and the actually shooting the weapon is more fun than what it looks like. That's just me. Let me know. Going into some other things, we have that the dungeon will take place in the Dreaming City and we'll have taken enemies, maybe some hive, so obviously we know that. The dungeon will play a role in the storytelling and will revolve around healing the Dreaming City. We talked about in our other leak video is that Maro will have a cutscene with Dual Caro, actually her killing that wizard, and that'll be it, which would be crazy if Savathun is there as well. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that would be pretty cool. There's going to be a 6-man activity revolving around feeding the Aramkara, and then a 3-man activity similar to the Savathun-inspired type activity that begins at the end of the Last Wish raid and allows players to input buffs through Awoken combination. That looks exactly what I believe is going to happen, because we've seen sort of that wish wall type deal in the trailer. I don't know if that's enough evidence for it to back this up, but we've also seen from other leaks that there's going to be somewhat similar to that Season of the Deep activity where you put in combinations and you pick up things and you basically get all these debuffs and buffs for that activity. So that seems very reliable. I think it's better to have 2 activities than just one like we had last year. But I was also told that it might be something similar to Battlegrounds. So, you know, time will tell if that is going to be what it is. So looking forward at some other things, we have Final Shape. Now we have a lot of stuff here for Final Shape. Essentially a race against time to defeat the Witness. Like stated in the reveal, it is the only thing that we're focusing on. A brief teaser for the upcoming cutscene was seen in the reveal where the Guardian falls and struggles against the Witness's overwhelming forces. This cutscene will lead into Destiny's version of On Your Left from Avengers Endgame, from that big movie, if you know, back from 2019, which I think you guys do. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you guys are doing with your life, go see it. The Guardian is aided by Ikora, Zavala, and Cade. Saint, Osiris, and Crow remain in the last city to ensure there's no attack. I find that kind of annoying, because if that is to be true, then they're basically putting Saint, Osiris, and Crow, which has been getting a lot of story narrative attention recently in the last couple of years, in the, you know, backplot, like, oh yeah, you can't be in the final battle. I don't like that. I hope that's false. But if they really need to ensure that the tower is safe, that won't get blow up like Gaul blew up back 5 years ago, then I guess that's what it is. Eris will play a minor supporting role in the Final Shape expansion. The 12-man activity is an ultimate story mission, with the 12th story mission being that the defeat of the Witness and victory for the Vanguard. The 12th-man activity is the 12th-man mission that unlocks after the raid has been completed. It is to be seen that if the campaign is going to be 12 or 8 missions. I keep forgetting if it is. I'm being told here that it's 12, but I was also told recently that this person came out and said it was only 8, but then someone else said it was 12. I don't know if it's 8 or 12. I thought I heard someone say it was 8 missions, but for the campaign, but I think it was 8. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that. All that is known about the raid that has already been stated is that it includes tearing the Witness from darkness and causing it to flee. The Witness will be the only raid boss in the entire raid, which we have not heard yet. And the final cutscene teases the Echoes episode, in which we see a portal to the Infant Forest open, and out walks a brand new Vex force we haven't seen before that has learned how to harness paracausality. And that is basically the lead-in to the Echoes episode. So that's going to be like all about Echoes. We have some more stuff on that so that you understand that this is going to be this next sort of this first episode is going to be all about the Vex, which I hope you guys are intrigued about. Now, some extra info. We know that the Final Shape, if this is to be correct, the Final Shape Season Pass exotic is going to be a heavy trace rifle that shoots the Traveler beam that can deal solar, arc, and void damage, which we saw in the reveal. The Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy will still be released. The new saga will be planned eventually. It's unknown about Destiny 3, unlikely, as they will change their mind if they decide to change engines. Bungie believes that Destiny 3 would have to change nearly everything to be considered, so obviously, again, pretty crazy there. The Pale Heart is massive and actually pretty cool. 7 bubbles, 4 are explorable in the campaign, 2 are unlocked post-campaign, and another post-raid. We know that I believe 2 or 1 huge space will be unlocked after the raid is completed, so it won't all come out once, but I've been hearing that this is going to be the biggest, and it is the first linear destination, so it might be the biggest one yet. The Pale Heart will include remix versions of Europa, Earth, Mars, The Last City, The Throne World, and The Dreaming City, as well as Nessus, The Dreadnought, and more. I know a lot of people have been telling me that this looks like just using re-assets from the old expansions to build this thing, but I think this is really going to still be its own destination from itself, and then it will have the extra things that we've seen before from past expansions. Huge spoiler alert here, Ikora will die through halfway through the campaign. Now this is a little bit odd because it just said earlier that the on your left thing, that sort of mission cutscene will happen. So I'm thinking that will happen maybe midway through, and then Ikora will die. But again, it's still odd because then how would we react to that? Because obviously us as characters, we've reacted to Cade's death, and we know that the Zavala voice actor, unfortunately, Lance Reddick, RIP, has passed away, but we haven't seen that character will not be going away in the Destiny storyline. So it will be very interesting because we haven't really paid a lot of attention to Ikora. So if she is to die out of the bloom, it'll be really interesting to see how our Guardians react to that. The raid is massive, 7 main encounters, 4 jumping puzzles, and a Sparrow section. Now, looking at this, I find it to be very fake, but when it comes to the raid, at least. But I was also told the exact same thing when I was looking at Forsaken leaks prior to, its reveal a couple years ago, and that also said a lot of things that I thought was fake that came out true. Same thing when it was the Witch Queen raid, when we were going to get a new boss type for the ending of that. So time will tell. Maybe the delay will surprise me with him. Oh yeah, we're going to do big raids, but I just know that there's 4 to 5 encounters with this raid that will be just on the Witness, and there will be jumping puzzles and a Sparrow section, so time will tell. Exotic is a trace rifle changed from stasis after the delay that harnesses the power of the Traveler. The Witness doesn't die in the raid, instead in a 12-player mission, which we know. The post-campaign is where we start to really learn Strife, as Bungie learned from Beyond Light and Lightfall to separate the subclass from the campaign. Despite if this is true or not, I hope if they are going to plan for a new subclass that they listen to that statement, because swear to God, if they were going to put a new subclass in the final shape and they put it right and smack down in the middle of the campaign, I will lose my mind, and I hope they understand that is just not good, just development stuff-wise. Cade is the destination vendor, which I believe no one will really like, but he is not really alive. More of a spirit trapped in the Pale Heart, and he cannot leave. The campaign, unlike Lightfall, is a very good story and gives many character moments. Many characters are involved in the story, including Zavala, Ikora, Cade, The Stranger, Anna Bray, Eris, Savathun, Xivu, Sloan, and more. The tower is absolutely decimated in the war on the Last City, and I'm about to rate is probably so awesome. And this is really, I'm going to say this right now, this is basically all cut content from Lightfall, because I literally said the exact same thing from this. But prior, I was remembering that Liz said, which was a very credible leaker, that a lot of this was cut. So Xivu Arath is now recruited by the Witness and sends the remaining Worm Gods to attack the city. Drifter and Eris help evacuate the people. 4 strikes, Crucible map pack in Revenant, and a returning Gambit map, which we know is happening. There is going to be a map pack, and there is going to be a returning Gambit map. So looking at that, this is probably going to be the best narrative ever. Again, I can't say yet anything because we haven't had the expansion. I don't want to jinx it, but looking at that already looks like it's giving me much more hope for the campaign. Vickrell and the Tangled Shore will return in Revenant, and the Tangled Shore is also missing a few areas. A new Lucent Hive infestation has happened in the Tangled Shore. Bungie is sticking to their 2 dungeon year plan. Both the dungeon and raid will release in Revenant. The dungeon is in the Tangled Shore hunting down Vickrell, and the reprise raid is a modified Wrath of the Machine. All that is known about Heresy is that Xivu Arath is the antagonist. Bungie has plans for another saga. Before I say my thoughts on that, I'm going to do the last part of this video, which is the Echoes section. Now with Echoes, Venus will return. So there's this whole thing about how Venus would return, and I'm just saying I would be so down for that. I know it's just so awesome to me to see this. Praedyth returns as the main protagonist alongside Osiris. The campaign is in 3 parts, 1 per act, which we know. The first part involves Osiris and the Guardian finding a mystery signal on Venus. Second, finding Praedyth and a big worm-like Vex. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Venus is a patrol zone, but some areas has been removed and some has been revamped. Either Red Death or Kvasov is the season pass exotic. This is really annoying because I was really hoping that Red Death, Kvasov, and the Red Death, all 3 of them would return in the same freaking season or expansion, but they keep changing it up, and it just, they're making it so this launches here and this launches there. They literally revealed the other day that Red Death is coming out like now. Well, I mean, Dragon's Breath is coming out in Season of the Witch, and now it looks like Red Death might launch in Echoes. So it's like they're splitting everything up, and it's just annoying, guys. Story starts where Final Shape ended, and there are hints to a red subclass on Venus, so Praedyth might be a villain. Alright, let's take a minute to digest all this information because it's a lot before I let you guys go. So looking at this, let's start with the episodes because that's really what I'm actually intrigued about too a lot. Is that looking at this is also giving me a lot of hype for it, with Revenant especially, because we know Revenant will probably likely have a map pack, and it's probably out of all the episodes likely to have a dungeon and a raid, looking at as the middle episode of the year. And then looking at it also, like, how awesome would it be to get a Vicral dungeon with Scorn? That's also awesome. A modified version of maybe a Fallen Scorn raid that could be hinted towards Wrath in the Machine, but it's modified. I want you to remember that word modified, so it's not the exact same thing. It's like its own maybe new thing. And then also looking at that maybe over these next couple of episodes that there's going to be a single destination that they sort of return. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe Mercury Mars size, where this episode they released the Tangled Shore, and then the next episode they release Venus, and then maybe in Heresy they might release some other episode. Maybe, I don't know, I know Xethorath's Throne World is gone, but or well, she was separated from it, so I'm hoping for something really interesting there. Now, looking at the final shape, like I said, there's a lot of hype here, but I want to just look at a lot of more things, see if it's more credible than not. I think there's a lot of stuff that is absolutely true about this, and then there's some things that I was kind of sketchy about. Similarly, probably the most being is that Ikora dying, and that the Strife Trace Rifle, because obviously we don't know if this is to be true yet, as it says change from stasis after the delay. We don't really have a full confirmation yet from Bungie if the delay is to be happening. So looking at that all together though, Season of the Witch looks very intriguing, and I think that's going to be the most true thing that we've seen here. And then looking at everything else, I am just beyond hyped to see what Bungie plans for these next couple of episodes, because this is basically the future of Destiny if you really think about it. This is going to be what we plan towards for the next couple of years if they are to do it these episode styles. So I'm hoping that Final Shape comes out amazing, and then these episodes can truly deliver on these shortened sort of acts of stories, but time will tell. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. Please be sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.